My team and I have spent the last few weeks listening to over 200 DET Speaking Sample answers, and we've discovered 6 key differences between a level 100 answer and a level 160 answer. And in this video, I'm going to explain all 6 differences so that you can score 160 when you take the DET. Sound good? Let's get started. Hello, I'm Francis from Last Minute English, and today we're looking at the difference between a level 100, 110 sort of speaking sample and a 160 speaking sample. First of all, let's do a quick review of what the speaking sample is all about. So you'll get a question a little bit like this, and you'll have 30 seconds to review, to think, to plan, and then you can speak for up to 3 minutes. Now, this comes at the end of the DET, and remember, it's really important because if you're applying to a university, the university can listen to your answer, actually listen to what you've said in the test. So you want it to be as good as possible. So we're going to divide the 6 differences into things that are really good about 160 level answers and mistakes that students around level 100 will make. Okay, first let's look at the good points, the positives. And the first positive is that students who score 160 will integrate some high-level vocabulary, some advanced level words and phrases. So let's look again at the question that we saw before. We're going to read through it because this question will come up again and again. So let's read it. People often grow the most during difficult or uncertain times. Talk about a period in your life when things were changing quickly. How did you cope? And what did you learn from the experience? So it's about difficult times, uncertain times, and times when you were growing as a person. So here's the first part of my answer for this question. And I want you to look at 3 words that we've got highlighted. So what do all of those words mean? What are they talking about? We've got questioning, we've got uncertainty, and we've got hesitant. What are they all talking about? So they're all talking about being unsure or uncertain, and that's one of the key parts of the question. And notice that we don't just say, I'm unsure, I'm unsure, I'm unsure. We're not using the same one again and again. We're using variety. So it's not just knowing one high-level word. It's really good if you can use different high-level words that have the same meaning. So this is something to think about in that 30-second preparation time. Think, are there any high-level words I know that I can try to put into this answer? Of course, if you're the kind of person who likes to eat the dictionary, then don't get too excited about this because we don't want to use too many high-level words. We don't want to change every word into a high-level word. Just a little sprinkle of high-level words is enough to score 160. If your DET is coming soon and you want to make sure you get the best score possible, you should really check out our DET Complete Preparation course. Hundreds of students have taken the course now, and we've got so many great scores and great results. The course is designed to help you score at least 120 or higher the first time you take the test. So if that sounds good, click the link down here to find out more. The next really good thing that 160 level students do is to use advanced grammar. So advanced grammar means using sentences and connecting words that are really high level. For example, things like mixed conditionals, things like participle clauses, things like cleft sentences. Now, this is not a grammar lesson, so we're not going to go into a lot of detail, but here's the next part of my answer. And you can see we've highlighted some areas, and those are areas that have some of these advanced level sentences. Let's quickly read those parts. So the first one there, knowing that it could be some time until we could go back to school, we decided to start a study group at the local library. So that one is a participle clause. And then at the end, if we hadn't taken such strong and decisive action, I'm not sure that I'd even be at university yet. So it was well worth the effort. Now that's a really complex sentence that has lots of pieces. And that's actually a mixed conditional. And again, not every sentence has to be super complicated. If you look at my answer, only 2 of them there are really high-level grammar. But if we can just drop 1 or 2 in, that's going to really help. If you're enjoying this video and you want to get more DET videos, more guides, more vocabulary, all kinds of things, make sure you like and subscribe because we have loads more videos coming out every week. The last really good point that high-level students have is their delivery. So delivery is not like if you're sitting at home and you're hungry and you decide to go on Uber Eats and order some. Well, that is delivery as well, but that's not speaking sample delivery. Speaking sample delivery means how you say the things that you're saying. So far we've talked about vocabulary and grammar. That's more like what you say. But delivery is how you say it. So there are a few different things that we have to think about. The first one is your speaking speed. How fast are you speaking? So some people have the idea that the faster you speak, the better your English is. But it's not really right. Actually, listen to me. I think I speak English pretty well. At least people seem to tell me that I speak English well. And I don't speak that fast. So I speak sometimes faster, sometimes a little slower. I leave lots of pauses. Of course, you don't want to speak too slowly. You have to be somewhere in the middle. But we don't want to be too fast, we don't want to be too slow. The most important thing is that the listener can understand you. It's also really important, and this is a very simple thing, but many people forget it. It's important to be loud enough. We don't want to be too loud, but we also shouldn't whisper, because if you can't be heard, how can you get a good score? So try to speak somewhere in the middle. And this is why it's really important to practice using your microphone or however it is that you're going to take the DET before you take it. Because it's a skill to talk to a computer with nobody there. That's a skill. It feels weird at first. And so you might just think you can talk like this. This is not good enough. You have to really enunciate. You have to speak loudly enough. So make sure you practice that before you take your real test. Something else to think about is which words you stress, which are the important words, and which words you say very quickly. Now we have loads of videos about that. Those are the Follow Me for 160 videos, and you can find some links to those here under this video. But let's take a look through the next part of my answer, and I'm going to read it. I want you to watch as I read and listen carefully. And then I want you to try and follow me. So we'll go sentence by sentence. We'll just look at 2 sentences for now, okay? You're going to try and copy the way that I deliver this answer. So, sentence 1. I would have to say that I ultimately learnt a lot from the experience. Okay, very good. Next sentence. As well as proving to myself that I can handle uncertainty, I also realized that I'm able to use my initiative. Okay, very good. So notice I'm not just saying, I also realized that I'm not able to use my initiative. It's not flat and it's not word, word, word. It's like little group of words, big word, little words, pause, and like that, okay? So the more that you can copy native English speakers and the way that they speak, the more your English will sound like that as well. So we've looked at the 3 things that 160 level students do really well. Now, let's think about the mistakes that stop other people from getting that kind of high score. So this is like the sort of mistakes that you might be making if you're like level 90, level 100, something like that. Okay? And I've got a sentence or a couple of sentences for you. I want you to read them and I want you to try to find the 5 mistakes that we've left in those sentences, okay? So there's 5 basic language mistakes, and that's the first problem that lower level students have, okay? Basic language mistakes. So see if you can find those 5 mistakes. I'm going to give you 20 seconds. It's pretty quick. See how many problems you can find. Have a try now. Okay, so welcome back. Let's take a quick look through. So the first one, it should be I'm now someone, not I now someone. So I'm now someone who enjoys. So even though we're talking about ourself, it still we have to add that S onto the end of enjoy. So I'm now someone who enjoys dealing with unexpected situations. So not unexpecting, that's not a word, unexpected. They're worrying at first, so it's not at firstly, it's at first. They can lead to opportunities, they can lead to personal growth, not personal grow, personal growth. So if you're making basic language mistakes, for example, you know that you often forget the past tense, or you often forget to put the S at the end of the verb. If you know those things, make a note of them, write them down, and really try to practice them, because that's probably the quickest way to improve your score, all right? Avoiding those basic mistakes is a really, really quick way to improve and try and get a higher score. The next mistake that lots of people make is saying lots of unconnected sentences one after the other. So when I say unconnected, I don't mean like they're about, one of them is about pizza, and the other one is about going to space, and the other one is about Game of Thrones. Although that all of those sound fun, and those are all things that I'm interested in. But what I mean is that in the grammar, those sentences are not connected. So let's look again at the second part of the sentences that we saw just before. So the part where it says, they're worrying at first, end of sentence. They can lead to opportunities, end of sentence. They can lead to personal growth. Now, all of that is fine, but we can definitely connect those sentences probably into one sentence and make our grammar score better. So what if we said something like this? Even if they're worrying at first, they can lead to opportunities and personal growth. So we've taken 3 simple sentences and connected them all together, and already that sounds much higher level. Then the last mistake that lower level students make is to include irrelevant information. Irrelevant means like not connected to the question. So if let's say you're speaking for 1 minute and you know, I've got 2 more minutes left, you might want to just say something like whatever ideas come into your head, even if they're not connected to the question. But that's not good. That's not a good thing to do. So, I mean, this question was about, we were giving an answer about a fire. And if you just start saying things about a fire in general, like, I think that fire is very hot. You shouldn't put your hand in fire. Yes, fire is dangerous. And sometimes we can cook with fire as well. Yes, that's right. I mean, none of those are connected to the story that we're talking about. Yes, they're about fire, but they're not totally focused on the question. So they are irrelevant, all right? So make sure that you're keeping your answer as relevant, as connected as possible. And I think the best way for us to think about keeping connected with our answer is to take a look at a full answer now. So this is the full answer for this question, and this would definitely score 160, assuming that your delivery is good enough. Hopefully it would be good enough. So I'm going to put the full answer on screen, and if you like, you can take a screenshot. Here we go. So there we go. Those are the 6 differences between a level 100 or 110 answer and a level 160 answer in the DET's Speaking Sample. Now, if you're the kind of person who struggles to talk for the full 3 minutes, if you speak for 30 seconds and you think, what else can I say? Then we've got the perfect video for you. This is a video, it's just up here. It's all about how you can fill that full 3 minutes. How can you keep talking but still stay focused on the question? It's a really good video. It's one of our most popular videos. The link is also down here. Make sure you check that out. If you've enjoyed today's video, make sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to get the total complete guide to scoring 120 or higher the first time you take the DET, check out our DET preparation course. The link's down here. I'm Francis from Last Minute English. Thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time.